And Arlene, because you're going to leave us and go away to Germany tomorrow and be away for several weeks,
Yes.
I don't want to be hard on you, so you start the general question.
Are you going to be very gentle with me all night tonight?
Yeah, just about as gentle as I just have been. Will you start the general question?
Oh, that's not gentle enough.
Now, we're using uniform here in its broadest sense. I don't want to mislead you.
Yes, you do, John. You know you do. Is it an animal that wiggles?
You mean as a basic means of locomotion, does it wiggle, like to get from one place to another?
I just meant, does it wiggle, John? I don't know what you have in mind.
I would say, with your permission, that I'm going to give you a no, because we could not certainly hold in any term of reference that the intent was to use it decoratively.
You said with my permission. I don't give you my
I
permission.
just thought of something. You get a yes.
Oh, he's just painted it bright blue, whatever it is. Missile?
Well, I mean, you're getting, you mean to
I'm-
cover the whole area of missilery, rocketry?
I'd like to cover everything I can to get a yes.
Well, as long as you're up in the air, we'll have to... Well, actually, I think that we don't want to mislead you. Would you give us your idea of what you mean by useful?
Anything that isn't useless.
You're in. Go. I should have known better than to ask. You go on.
Is it a product that ever takes off the ground?
What did you have specifically in mind when you asked that question?
I'm not going to answer you. I'm the one that asked the question.
Now, look here, can I rule out a ferry? Because we know that doesn't go very far.
I think... You want to... no, wait a minute. Don't give anything away. Do you want to ask a question about a ferry?
We haven't got an awful lot of time, John. I think you ought to be terribly decent about this. If it's a ferry, just say yes or no.
Not more peculiar than a saddle.
Well, the issue was really asked in terms more original, you know, in a
More
concept
unusual
of
than a saddle.
unusual than a saddle. Yeah, we wouldn't want to mislead you on the answer we gave. There.
Yes, you would, John. Does that mean I may rule out saddles?
No, that's 4 down and 6 to go to 5.
Is it valuable?
How valuable?
Costs more than 20 cents.
Would you care to give us your definition of inanimate?
My definition of inanimate, how can I get a yes? My definition of inanimate is something that does not breathe.
Carry on, Miss Francis. Very good. I didn't think you could do it. No. 1 down and 9 to go. Mr. Lemon. Miss Arlene.
Sorry,
I'm just trying to find out what executive is.
Please, there was no call for a conference.
I see.
You speak of other living entities than human beings?
Yes. I know it's a no, John, but yes.
3 down and 7 to go.
Is it squishy?
Squishy? No, it's not squishy. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Goddard.
Do you use this product on your body?
No. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Why was everybody squealing? Somebody out there uses it on their body somewhere. Now, when you say, could it be used on the body, you are including the mouth and the face and all that, aren't you?
Oh, certainly.
Because that's all part of the body.
That last time I looked, it was, yeah.
In the bathroom. It gets so difficult, doesn't it, after a while?
An animal that has a coat that is sometimes useful and used in wearing apparel sometimes.
No, not a coat. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Sir.
Miss Shingler.
Somebody in the audience has worn what this animal has.
Well, now, actually, I want to make it very clear now that the issue was raised on the point of a coat. In our usual terminology and usage, a coat has to do with the hair or fur, etc.
No, it
and so
doesn't,
forth.
John. If I may I argue? I'd adore
No,
it.
darling,
Would
you
like
can't.
to give
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Sir.
Is it a product that is hard rather than soft?
Mean to use a term that Dorothy thought means squishy.
No, I just mean the opposite of hard, and I don't care what Dorothy taught you.
I would think we would have to imbalance so that we didn't mislead them. So that's 1 down and 9 to go.
No,
Mr.
darling,
Sales?
I said is it hard rather than soft?
Oh, you did? Well, then that's not 1 down and 9 to go. I tried.
I mean, if you want to get me off, I ought to.
Mr. Parker agrees they are in motion, yes.
Well, we took advantage of you while you were having a conference and not paying any attention to us. We were having a little talk, and we have decided that maybe it can be either a jumping rope or a pogo stick. Is it one of these?
Yes.
I want to tell you, John, I have to argue with you because that's what's in my mind, and you have to put a candlestick on something. You can't let it hang in the air.
But it stands up by itself. You put it on something and it stands
You
up
have
by
to
itself.
put it on a table.
Yeah, but it stands up by itself when you put it... Arlene.
Meet me out. Come on, I want my second.
Do you feel you're starting the new year quite fairly? As a rule, when we have that sort of an occupation, you say that Miss Huxley is occupied with a service. However, there is a product involved in it somewhere. That's what you said in 1964.
Well, I've decided to be unfair in 1965. Our guest is Sally. Now let's start the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Is our guest one who is easily recognizable?
That was a no. Our guest is our guest.
Our guest is certainly recognizable to the audience.
Well, I will say this, Miss Arlene. I think we do have to give you a no answer because of the general character of your question.
Now, just a minute, John.
Yes, just a
I don't want to start an argument with you, but when I say is our guest recognizable, that would mean that if he were dressed in a motorman's uniform, he would be recognizable as a motorman, which is what I meant.
Well, considering the explanation
Now I get a
which,
no.
considering the explanation which you have been kind enough to give, I think it's only fair to say go ahead.
Do you have, I don't know what the title would be, commissioner or a...
Oh, the Commissioner of Fisheries for the state of Oregon?
I wouldn't fight him that way.
May I say to myself that Mrs. Dunlop does not waste her time counting the fish?
May you say that to yourself?
I'll be wrong, won't I, John?
You'll be as wrong as you be. That's 3 down and 8 to go.
Well, if it comes in contact with the mouth, but it doesn't come in contact with the body from the neck to the waist, then obviously it goes in the mouth, but it would be inadvisable to swallow it. Is that correct, Mr. Parnell?
Nope.
Well, then it comes in contact with the body, John. The
But
inside of the body.
We said it comes in contact
No,
with the
you
body.
said no from the neck to the waist.
Well, I wasn't thinking about the...
So I get a yes, right?
There's one thing that I must say about people from Boston. Arlene's from Boston, and so on. We know when we've been had, and I've just been had. Go ahead, Miss Francis.
I couldn't have had a nicer fella, John. Pardon me, Martin.
Miss Francis, I'd go to work on the product if I were you.
I think we better work on the product, yes, John.
You have a very nice smile and an attractive personality. Are you a performer of some kind?
You mean stage-type performer?
I just mean a performer, John.
Chosen Miss Idaho for the Miss America. The Miss America contest is in September now. Miss Arlene is going to be chosen Miss Universe next Saturday.
I'm going to be chosen Miss what?
Miss Universe next Saturday.
I'm the Queen Mother. I'm the hostess.
Well, I would just say, looking at television next Saturday night, there won't be nobody there prettier than you are.
Oh, yes, there will, but you're sweet, John.
And now, perhaps the main reason for this program's longevity, the very charming and erudite John Charles Daly.
Arlene and I are going to be a little proud and peacock tonight. We're going to be Miss Universe next Saturday, and just think of the rest of you folks. So we'll try to be Universe. You're going to be Miss Universe.
I'm delighted that I have a chance once in a while to say how proud I am to be part of an association that has lasted 16 years, and a great deal of that pride is due to our moderator, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Thank you very much, Miss Arlene. I consider that one of the nicest Christmas presents I get this year. Arlene, Why, you looking lovely as usual. We've been together for a great many years, and Arlene is a most remarkable person. It seems to me that every year passing you get lovelier, not only just physically, but also in the wonderful kind of woman you are.
I have a pleasure that seldom falls to me, and that is of introducing our moderator, one of the most attractive and ablest men, both on and off television, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Miss Mach is Miss Austria and will represent her nation in the Miss Universe pageant, which I'm happy to say I'm going to do with Mrs. Universe, Arlene Francis. We're going down to report on the Miss Universe, and I'm taking Mrs. Universe with me, which is a pretty good way to do it.
John, on behalf of your wife and myself, may I ask you to please behave yourself at that beauty contest in Florida next week?
Arlene's my chaperone. What more could anybody ask, I would think.
And now the most gracious, knowing conferencier in television.
I'm pleased to say that Mrs. Gable, Arlene Francis, has just been elected to the board of directors of the New York World's Fair, which opens in 1964, and the only woman.
I have the sunny job of introducing perhaps the most gracious and knowledgeable man in our business, Mr. John Daly.
And Arlene, bless her, looks more beautiful every time I look at her. And
I just want to say at this point that I followed in John Daly's footsteps, and there aren't better footsteps in the world to follow in, because he was given a doctorate at the American International College in Springfield last year. So I'm in glorious company.
Doctor, nice to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Doctor.
That's all right, Doctor.
Here dressed for the waltz, as is appropriate to a panelist who's been with us for 16 years, is lovely Arlene Francis.
And Arlene, I'll waltz with you as soon as we're out of here.
I hope so.
And very gladly.
Review of reason to consider that a relationship which we could describe as direct would obtain at some time or another between Miss Means and the new First Lady.
What I cannot understand is why a man with your diplomatic approach is not in this sort of a job. You'd be glorious in the White House. Thank you, John. If I did have it, would it show?
Pretty much depend on what you were doing with it.
Is it a product I might put in my mouth?
Yeah?
I put all sorts of things in my mouth,
I didn't
John.
say a
No,
word.
you're being troublesome.
I didn't say a word. I just sat back, that's all.
Is dexterity attached to what you do?
Manual dexterity?
No.
No.
No, I meant mental dexterity.
Yeah,
What makes you think
Bring your violin. That's 4 down and 6.
Are you fairly new to the television industry?
No.
Now, what do you mean by fairly new?
Well, I mean in the last 10 years.
Miss Arlene, we want to be fair. I think perhaps...
Oh, John, you always say that. You know it's not so.
No, actually, I think this tends to give you perhaps more information than we want to, but it would be, I think, unfair to say that it could never be found outdoors. It might, on occasion, be seen outdoors.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Right.
Is it smaller than Steve Allen's bread box?
Yes.
Is it some...
You mean, is it smaller when it is properly applied and used in terms of its cubic content, in terms of air?
Why, such a thing never occurred to me.
I'm just trying.
Well, then, from what you say, I would gather that this changes its shape, like the rest of us.
Speak for yourself, Miss Francis.
Is it something that one would see if one came into one's home to visit?
You mean, would it be as a natural and normal thing on display in the home to the casual visitor?
No, that's what you mean. That's not what I mean. What I mean is it possible, John, that if I were to go and visit somebody, they may bring out a product that Mrs. Getz may have something to do with?
I mean, Miss Getz.
Miss Getz. I just married the girl.
I mean, could you hold it in your hand?
Yeah.
Or would you, in using it, hold it in your
No,
hand?
but could you hold it in your hand?
Yes.
Or is it... You can?
Yes, you can hold
Don't
it.
be dubious, Mrs. Getz. Don't let John Daly frighten you the way he
Miss
does
Getz,
us.
please.
Well, I know a Mrs. Getz and the whole thing is so complicated.
Miss Peggy's 15. I don't want her mother and dad climbing my frame next week.
Might it be used in some sport that is played by two people rather than a team?
Peggy said she can't think of a game which two people could play, which
Would you-
would...
Well, that's because she's only 15. Does detecting have anything to do with Mrs. Don't get ready to touch the card, John. Who knows? You may have to reconsider what I'm going to say.
I'm all ears.
Does, anyway, I just want to ask if Mrs. Kelly is open all night.
It might have...
Then don't you think you ought to give me a free guess on that?
Yeah, you
John?
get one free guess.
You don't mind, do you, Mark?
I sure do, but go ahead.
I wouldn't take anything away from you. But I have a feeling of a sausage coming over me. Do you have anything to do with anything like
What
sausages?
happens when a sausage comes over you?
Miss Kuykendall, you work for a profit-making organization, don't you?
No, ma'am.
You don't?
That's wonderful.
Some kind of a uniform?
Yes.
Would it be a white one sometimes?
We have to have a conference. I'm awfully sorry.
John's about to have the treatment.
Oh, since you went to a specific part of the anatomy as a necessary part of the question. Miss Kilgallen, 6 down and 4 to go.
Do you ever administer drugs?
Yes.
Are you ever to be found?
We know what part of the body that is.
Might have some involvement with one of the specific areas which you mentioned, so you proceed, if you will, with the question. What did he say?
Don't ask him, I'll get a no. Do people come to you for your service?
Yes.
Do you work
Well,
indoors?
let me say here that what we would mean to convey by that affirmative answer is that some affirmative action by the individual who wishes to make use of the service is necessary, although the physical transportation to the immediate vicinity of Miss Arnold might not necessarily be required.
Sure, baby.
This degree, so that we have no misunderstandings. Those who own it, we would suppose, would derive certain emoluments from its use by others. This would increase their sense of well-being, certainly.
And Merry Christmas to you, John.
Is it a product that is especially interesting this season of the year?
Yes.
It is to him, John.
Well, I know it is to Mr. Madden, but I think we have to enlarge the scope of our answer here. And with Mr. Madden's permission, I'm going to say no, but because I don't think to Arlene it would be particularly interesting at this time of the year. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, John.
With the First Lady or the President might occur.
Well.
Skillfully and properly, you would certainly benefit because it was well done.
Thank you, John. You want to recite the second verse, or shall I just go on now?
Well spoken, John.
Very good, John, yes. I don't care what it is. It was just a joy to hear you. I mean, you would be more in the punishing side of the law?
Well, now, I would say here, because I think it's only fair to do it, that Bennett's question with respect to a relationship to the law was extremely broad, and nothing should be inferred from the answer that is specific. Hello there.
Does that mean she really doesn't have to do anything to do with the law?
No, Bennett asked a question on the relationship with the law that was very broadly put. We had to agree that the relationship, no matter how tenuous one might consider it, was there, but this does not in any way imply it's encouraged, you know?
Swell, John.
Yeah.
Do you need any special equipment in your job?
Yes, I do.
Is it something that you wear?
No.
Small conference.
John is now finding out what she wears.
Well, now, Arlene, that'll cost you a no. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. McGavin.
You get a no, too, John. Do you need equipment for this job? No.
That makes it a small conference.
John's interested in her equipment. Who complains? If you don't ask questions, how will you learn, John? I'm on your side.
Is there anything relating to massage in your work? I'm speaking in your behalf, Peter. Are there any two ways about massage? No, but I mean, look at the discussion. John, are you having a massage? A useful product?
Let me have a small conference.
He's learning how to say it in Italian.
Miss Christensen is Miss Norway, representing her country in the Miss Universe contest. For permission, let me have a small conference.
He's trying to be Mr. Norway. No.
Wait a minute, small conference.
Why don't they just go off together?
Would you use any soap in the job that you do?
No.
No.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, I've got to have another conference. Break small. Yes. Actually, but we'd like to change that answer. There is some soap used, yes. No, I'm going to flip all the boards.
Let me guess.
All right, one guess.
Does she have anything to do with nursing? I was going to ask if she was either a nurse or an assistant.
Well, actually, she is a dental nurse. That's why I said you get very good. Very good, Arlene.
The reason I knew that was that I thought of myself, my mouth being washed out with soap. And that was
Does Martin do that all the time, and why? No, if you were told as a layman what it is that Mr. Bentler does, you might find it a bit amusing or diverting or interesting because of the particular character of what he does.
I see. I would like to say at this moment, John, that I notice you haven't had any conferences with Mr. Bentler.
Sir.
Is it any kind of candy or confection?
We have to have a small conference.
Confection, not affection, John. Do you wear something other than the costume that you're wearing now when you're at your job?
I'm going to have a small conference again. Awful lot of conferences.
Well, John likes to know what they wear. I was going to ask if it was smaller than an ordinary dress, John. Are there many young men like yourself doing this kind of work?
Yeah.
No, you're losing a golden opportunity, young man. No, 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Showman. Now, this is not to say other young men aren't, Miss Arlene, but since you said many, then I'm afraid we have to give you a no.
Don't be afraid, John.
Oh.
I'll be back, Arlene. You sure you're over that chicken pox?
Don't worry about a thing.
Well, I must say, and I'm sure you all agree with me, that it's nice to have Miss Chickenpox of 1963 back with us.
Mr. Mott, do you work principally indoors? It was nothing. Mr. Mott, do you have a product involved in what you do?
No, I'm afraid not. 2 down.
You know what I said? I said involved. I didn't say you made it or sold it or had it.
It's a charming girl.
No product?
Actually, as we use the word formal, in our connotation, it would be
I'm going
no.
to get a no.
That's right.
Couldn't we use Mrs. Tatros on account of she's from the South? And
Yes,
all?
it goes, honey. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Sir.
That comes in contact with the person?
No.
John is thinking up another long answer for us, aren't you, darling?
Well, go, Miss Fred.
Any cows are watching, I'm sorry.
Have we ruled out the milk side of it from what Mr. Allen just said?
No, that has not been ruled
Oh, it's
out.
not been ruled out. Well, you put me in rather a spot, don't you, dear boy?
Yes, I do, Miss Fred. Let's begin the general questioning with Miss Hathaway of 1953, Arlene Francis.
Mr. Lamson, do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
Thank you.
That's-
Hathaway is out.
If I may intrude here, the service which you would seek would not, in its normal terms of reference, incorporate any element of advice. That makes
I
it one
always
down.
need advice.
And 9 to go. I doubt that. Now, Mr. King.
I found your answer so confusing, John, that I don't know how to start questioning. No offense, because I love every answer you give.
Is this in any way a product that has moving parts?
Yes.
Is John dubious?
No, I'm John Daly.
Were you trying to take a long way around to give me a no, John?
No, I was taking
No.
a long way around to give you a qualified no so you could
Thank
go
you.
on.
We're accepting the word communications in its broadest sense when we give you an affirmative answer.
Well, that's generous of you. John, dear.
Well, I think we all have frustrations of one kind or another. One of mine, I think, probably is that I've always wanted to be able to sing opera. I particularly wish I could sing opera tonight because it's Arlene's birthday. And I wonder if Bennett and Art... This might set television back 7,000 years, but we could do the usual.
No.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Arlene. Happy birthday to you.
Do you, in your work, stay on the ground? Sometimes she's on the ground, John. I can see it when I look at her. Now, don't you get ready to say no. Once in a while, maybe she's under the water up in
I
the
believe
air.
as you posed the question, do you stay on the ground? That'll give you a no.
Oh, you're
6 down
rough
and
tonight,
4 to go,
Dan.
Mr. Moon.
That's what I mean, John. Do you want to say no?
Oh, we're going to give you a yes.
You are? Good. Oh. Would I be correct in assuming that you are not an announcer?
Yes.
Thank you, Bennett. We straightened that out. Could I ask the Bennett, who is very hip on these things, what other things there are?
No, you may not.
I can't.
No.
Oh. Could I ask Chuck, because he's new here. And also, he once played right field or something. First base. All right, but John, because of friendship's sake and everything, just let me ask one question of Chuck Connors.
You may ask one question.
May I
of
ask
Chuck
you
Connors.
what other things there are?
Well, we could talk about the people who control the leagues and run them, like the league presidents and the commissioner of baseball.
Oh, is it Branch Rickey?
Branch Rickey, right.
Thank you, John.
Perfectly all right, darling. Tony, again, it's grand to have you with us, and hope you'll be back real soon. And good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
It's grand to have me with you, too, isn't it, John?
Of course.
Yeah.
Always.
That's right.